This is TWiT.
I think a lot of people are familiar with, have seen, have maybe experienced online hate in public places, right? You've seen it in your comments, perhaps, or in replies on Twitter. But one place that folks might not be thinking about online hate is in the direct message area of these social media platforms. Well, the Center for Countering Digital Hate has been looking at these sort of off-the-grid places, these places that the public doesn't necessarily see, to track and understand not only abuse there, but maybe how companies could be doing more to protect folks there. Joining us today from the Center for Countering Digital Hate is the CEO, Imran Ahmed. Welcome to the show.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, happy to have you here. So I think before we get into this specific study, what I'd love to start out is by you explaining what the Center for Countering Digital Hate does as a whole. I think people need to hear about this center.
Well, we were set up 6 years ago in the wake of the murder of my colleague Joe Cox MP by a far-right domestic terrorist in the UK during the referendum. And ever since, we've been looking at the ways in which bad actors have weaponized what we've realized are bad platforms to create offline harm in our society and to act as a watchdog for the harms being created and suggest solutions for how we can make things better.
Excellent. Yeah, the study that I came across that I wanted to talk to you about centers around Instagram, which we have, I think all of us have heard a lot about the impact that Instagram has on young folks in particular, the power, so to speak, of Instagram as a whole. And it is something that I think folks may not have been considering is the stuff that takes place in direct messages there. So I was hoping you could start by talking about the hidden hate research that you folks have done.
So Instagram is a really important platform. It's a way in which we establish our brands, in which we, communicate, we express ourselves, we maintain relationships, we transact commerce. And in that respect, it's been studied quite a lot, the amount of sort of open hatred that there is on that platform and the effects that has on people. But what we kept hearing when we were talking to people was, you think it's bad in public, just wait till you see my direct messages. And we wanted to have a look at, well, is there a way at scale to look at the quantum of harms being created in direct messages? So how much hate is there? We worked with 5 very prominent women with millions of followers and analyzed 9,000 of their DMs over several months. And these women range from a magazine editor to the Hollywood celebrity Amber Heard. And what we found was that about 1 in 15 of the messages they got were hateful. But the real problem came when we actually started reporting that hate to the platform as though we were the women themselves. And we found that only in 1 in 10 instances was any action taken against people who were sending one-word misogynist hate, graphic sexual imagery, or death threats.
Wow. So was this that in those instances where the action was taken, was Instagram responding in direct? How did that look whenever the situation actually worked in that 1 in 10 instance?
So, Instagram promised in February 2021, they said that they recognized that DMs were an important vector for abuse. And that abuse is really impactful because it means that women don't want to go onto the platform. They don't want to log on. They don't want to see what's in their DMs. They might be missing out on business opportunities. They might be missing out on lovely messages from their friends because they don't want to have a look at what horrible people are saying on there. And what we found is that only in 1 in 10 instances did Instagram do what they said they would do, which is to ban people who are sending death threats, explicit sexual imagery, which of course shouldn't be allowed. Like if you break the rules like that, that is a kind of red card offense.
Mm-hmm. And one of the notes that you made in the blog post regarding this study is the fact that in some instances, you're not even able to make a report on or ask for action to be taken unless you view the message that the person sends. So you are required to expose yourself to whatever it might be in order to respond on the platform. Is this just, in your opinion, and in looking at this, is this just sort of a basic failing of Instagram in understanding how this digital hate takes place?
I mean, if you allow people to send unsolicited audio and video messages, which you can only assess as to whether or not they're from someone horrible or a friend by playing it, well, that is a system that's rife for abuse, especially because these can come as message requests, so not just from someone that you know, but from anyone. And the problem with that system is that they haven't built in safety by design. Now, how safety would work in a system like that is that you would learn very quickly that they take enforcement action, and that this is really about creating norms of behavior which are in favor of women and not in favor of abusers. At the moment, the norms that Instagram have established by virtue of their action they take rather than their rule. Their rules say this stuff is banned, but the actions they take talk louder than the words of their rules. And the actions are, you know what, if you send this stuff, we'll turn a blind eye to it because, frankly, we've got better things to do. Count our money, I think.
Mm-hmm. Now, you briefly touched on this, but I want to kind of get this directly. What do you say to the folks who say, well, there's a simple solution for this. Shut down your Twitter direct messages or your Instagram direct messages or your Facebook messages. Don't let people message you. When they say that to someone who is facing this abuse, what's your response to that?
Well, why should women have a second-class experience to men, or why should gay people or black people? And the reaction to this report has been, I mean, this has been featured in media all over the world. The Washington Post, New York Times, The Hill covered it on day one. And you know, a lot of the journalists that I talked to said, you know, me too. Like, I get this all the time. And it shouldn't be acceptable that if women want to use these platforms, they receive a wall of abuse, because the truth is that what it means is that the voices that we've worked hardest over the last decades, centuries to actually bring into public life, women, gay people, black people, brown people, people like myself, our voices are there is a tax being put on us being able to express our voices. And that tax is having to experience abuse and being told, being gaslit by companies, being told it's your job to clean it up and we won't be there. We've put an alarm bell on the system. You can report things, but guess what? We haven't actually connected the alarm bell to an alarm in our headquarters, nor will we do anything about it when we see it.
Now, if someone hears about this report, reads this report, which we encourage everyone to go to counterhate.com to read it, what can they do to take action? What's a way for folks watching now or listening now to be able to say, you know what? No, I'm not okay with this. We need to make a difference here.
Well, there's a petition to be signed on our website, which has been signed by 26 leading civil rights organizations, not just women's organizations, but also organizations that campaign on race and on other issues. But also, look, in a couple of weeks' time, the guy that runs Instagram, Adam Mosseri, is being honored at the Met Gala for his contribution to, I don't know, popular culture. And in reality, what he's doing is rolling back women's involvement in popular culture by making sure they have to face a wall of abuse. How about when he's being honored, we all send him a quick tweet or a quick IG DM to say, Adam, is there any chance you could read this report and do something about it? Old bean.
Yeah, that's great action to take. Briefly, I was hoping you could mention some of the other research that the Center for Countering Digital Hate has done before we say goodbye.
Yeah, I mean, look, we've looked at a number of different harms, and I think we're most well known for our work on anti-vaxxers, the Disinformation Dozen, which President Biden cited last year when he said that 12 people are 12 killers are spreading 65% of the disinformation that's being produced on social media. Our work looking at anti-Semitism, and we've got an upcoming report on anti-Muslim hate. But also we've got other work which has looked at other types of harms online. And if folks want to have a look, if they want to get involved, counterhate.com is our website, and @CCDHate is our Twitter, and @counterhate is our Instagram.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Imran. Of course, yes, head to counterhate.com. We'll have links there, and you heard the different social media accounts that you can follow. Thank you for your time, and thank you for what you and the Center for Countering Digital Hate are doing. We appreciate that.